Okay, so what we're going to do today is I'm just going to go over the answers for the 4-5 practice A. This is what we learned before Thanksgiving. We have a quiz on this lesson plus on lesson 4-4 on Thursday. So what we're going to do the next 3 days is just we're going to reinforce the slope and the direct variation. Okay, this is the chapter where it starts to get a little bit more difficult. And we're going to be using slope and y-intercepts and all of that, what we're learning in this chapter throughout your years here at McCarthy. All right, so first of all, for number 1, you had to look at the given equations on 1, 2, and 3 in the chart. And you had to first solve for y. Now, notice on number 1, it was already solved for y for you, and they already filled in 3 of the answers. Okay? And here, our constant of variation, remember, as soon as you can write your equation in y equals kx form, the constant is represented by the letter k. And in this equation here, our constant is this number 7. So we would say our constant of variation is the number 7. For the number 2, it says solve for y if needed. Okay? It wasn't needed, it was already done, so I'm just going to rewrite the equation in this next box. So it's 4x minus 10 in that section. Okay, is the equation in y equals kx form? Remember before Thanksgiving I told you if there was anything being added or subtracted to this kx, then it was not a direct variation. So in this box, you would say no because it has this minus 10. This makes it not a direct variation. So in this next box, you're going to write the word no. And then because it's not a direct variation, you would say no, there's no constant or it's not applicable. So NA. The next one we have to work for. It's not solved for y. So we actually need to solve for y on number 3. And we did this back in chapter 1, where we solved for a variable. So I need to move the 5x away from the 2y. So I'm going to subtract it from both sides. And then I'm left with negative 2y equals negative 5x. My y still isn't by itself. I need to divide both sides by negative 2. Once I do that, y is now by itself, and negative divided by a negative is a positive, and I can just leave it 5 over 2x. If you made it 2.5 or 2.5, that's fine. All right, so I'm just going to leave it as 5 over 2, and that's what I'm going to write in this box. It can be written, it is in the correct form, so yes. And because it's in the correct form, yes, it is a direct variation. And my constant, you could either say it's 5 over 2. You could also say it's 2.5. Or you could have said it's 2.5. Any of these answers would be acceptable. So you will have to do this on the quiz on Thursday. Rearrange it and then tell me if it's a direct variation. Okay, from an equation form. I will also give you the information in table form. Now, here it's walking you through step by step. It's telling you to find the value of y divided by x. And I think I'm going to go to the next screen. Anybody still need this screen? Because I've re-entered this thing different times. All right, so now I'm going to do 4 and 5 on this one. So here, I am actually going to divide each one of these. Y divided by x. Okay, make sure you do it in the right order. So here, I'm going to do 2 over 10. And I'm going to simplify it. Then I'll do the 3 over 15 and simplify. And the 4 over 20. So I'll reduce the first one. I can divide them both by 2 and get 1/5. Here I can divide them both by 3. And here I can divide them both by 4. Notice each time I get the number 1/5. Because it is the same, you say yes here, and then yes because I got the same number each time, I will say yes, this is a direct variation. All right, let's try number 5. Again, you're going to divide them all. So the first one, I'm going to divide 16 divided by 4, which gives me 4. 20 divided by 8, if I reduce that, I can divide them both by 4 and get 5 over 2, which will be 2.5. You can leave it 5 over 2. Notice I got this different number. So as soon as it fails, you know it's not a direct variation. I'll show you the last one. It's 24 over 12. And that simplifies to 2. So the numbers in this box should have been 4, 5 over 2, or 2.5, and then the number 2. They are not the same, so you would say no. And because they're not the same, it's not a direct variation. Good so far? You will have to do this on the quiz on Thursday. All right, 6 and 7. Now, when we learn this, I told you you could do either the proportion or you can find K and then plug it back in. Because they're walking it through, they're wanting you to demonstrate method 1. On the quiz, I don't care which method you use. Okay, but I'll demonstrate method 1 here. I'll also show you method 2 after I finish doing the worksheet. All right, so for example, on number 6, what they want you to do is find K first. So to find K, you're going to replace everything that's given to you. So they gave us y equals -2 and x equals -4. And that's what they placed right here. Now what they didn't show is we need to divide by -4 to get K by itself. So now I'm trying to simplify -2 over -4, which ends up giving me +1/2. That's my value of K. I now take that new value of K I just found, and I'm going to place it into the equation over here. So right here on this line, I'm going to write the 1/2. Then the x that they told me in the second part of the problem goes here, the 8. And then I'll do 1/2 of 8, which is 4. That's using method 1. On this same problem, if you did method 2 on the quiz, again, I'm not going to ask you to demonstrate either or. You can choose. If you're going to do method 2 for number 6, which is the proportion, remember you'll set it up as y over x, y over x. So the first two y and x you read, the -2 and the -4, go in the first fraction. Then I don't know why, but I know my x is going to be 8. And then you'll do cross products here and do this times this times this. And then you'll end up with -4y equals -16. Divide by -4 and y equals +4. So you can use either method on the quiz on Thursday. All right, let me go back to number 7 and fill in the blanks like they want. So again, they've already set up part of the problem for you. They took the 12 and the 8 and they put it in right here, 12 and 8. I need to solve for K. The way I'm going to do that is divide by 8. Divide by 8. I can just reduce it, or I can make it a decimal. I can divide them both by 4. 4 goes in here 3 times. 4 goes in here 2 times. So you can make K either 3 over 2, 1.5, or 1.5. When I put it in here, I'm going to leave it 3 over 2. And then I'll take the 15. It goes here. My y value is 45 over 2, or if you made it a decimal, 22.5 or 22.5. Any one of these three would be acceptable. Okay, you can also use the proportion method if you want. Good so far? Let's try the word problem. Okay, it says here, the number of hamburgers that can be made varies directly with the weight of ground beef used. And then it's telling us that 4 hamburgers can be made from every pound of ground beef. That's going to be my constant of variation. So my equation here is going to be y equals 4x. Because in the problem, they told us that y is going to be the number of hamburgers, and x is going to be the pounds of ground beef. To get the graph, you're going to make a table. So y equals 4x in the middle. Then you can put your order pair over here, just like we did from chapter 3 on. Now, notice my x's that I'm going to use. They're all just positive numbers. I don't need to do any negative numbers. So if you just wanted to do 1, 2, 3, you could do that. You could also do, if you wanted to get further out on your graph, you could have done 10. So then you're going to plug it in. 4 times 1, 4 times 2, 4 times 3, 4 times 10. However many, you need to do at least 2 numbers. So this gives me 40, this gives me 12, 8, and 4. So then the order pairs you're going to graph are going to be 1, 4, 2, 8, 3, 12, 4, 10, or 10, 40, sorry. And then you'll take these order pairs and you're going to graph them on the graph. So we'll go ahead and graph 1 and 4, 2 and 8, 3 and 12, and then 10 and 40. So you can come over here, connect your dots, and make your line. And that's how you would do the word problem. Any questions on this homework? Okay, so what we're doing tonight, or right now in class, you do have practice B. It's not walking you through step by step. It's going to reinforce this lesson. Then tomorrow we're going to go back and review slope again, along with some more direct variation practice. Any questions on direct variation? Okay, so go ahead and start your direct variation homework. It is the practice B. If you have questions, you can come and ask me while I'm here to help you.